I appreciate that. I do the chunky glasses because they're blue light filtering, and the more space I give around my eyes to block all my monitors and stuff, the better. So there is a method to the madness. Hi, Anne. Welcome back. What are you up to today? Are you back at work? Yeah, working. Thanks for the heart. It's good that you're here because I'm editing today. And you were one of the people that said that you would be interested to know what that looks like. So that's what we're doing today. Hopefully it goes kind of smooth. I think I have my editing process down now to where it goes one thing after the other and rolls really smooth. But I guess we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and put I've got all my chapters loaded in. I've got my list of things I need to fix, all my pickups side by side. So the idea is we'll be able to go from one to the next and get it all fixed. So, all right. The beginning and end of the audio file has the correct amount of salt in the daylight. Spacing. Retreating, but not for long. So we want to have like less than a second on the front end. You did, oh yeah, on Book Sirens. I like it because they'll send you emails almost every day letting you know like what new arcs are available. So you can look on their site for everything that's available, or you can just wait for them to send you an email. Long. Okay. Chapter. All right, yeah. So the beginning of the file needs to be less than a second. I like to go 0.7. And then the end of the file, I like to give about 3 seconds. Because if you are listening to a book, to have that separation between, like I read chapter 1, and if I don't put 3 seconds at the end of the chapter 1 file, then it goes right into chapter 2. So it would be like the last word of chapter 1, like between 2 and 3. I'm doing chapter 3 right now. So like chapter 2 would end, Draco says nothing, his eyes burning into the place where she stood long after she had gone. Chapter 3, Noel. And that would be too fast. So I give it 3 seconds after that last sentence in the previous chapter. That way it gives some space, lets you know you've gone to the next chapter, and it's all fine and good. Okay, so now at the 5-minute 16-second mark is the first one. Even the stables, which house the finest steeds in the Even the stables, which house the finest steeds in the kingdom, were strangely still. Walls were absent, as if the castle itself had swallowed all sound. Even the stables, which housed the finest steeds in the kingdom, were strangely still. Let's see if that flowed. Even the stables, which housed the finest steeds in the kingdom, were strangely still. We're going to see if we can make that blend a little better, because one of the problems about even the stables, which housed the finest steeds in the kingdom, were strangely still, is sometimes your voice sounds different when you come back. I haven't gotten good enough to be able... Some narrators are really good at doing the... Like they maybe live in a climate that stays pretty consistent. I don't have that. We have different humidity and stuff every day, so we... ancient and weathered by centuries of history. I have issues with my voice sounding exactly the same from day to day. That's why I try to do like whole chapters when I record. Some people can start and stop in the middle of chapters and like do their editing and stuff. I can't do that. This silence wasn't just the absence of sound, but the presence of something else. Oh, it was if the castle... Here we go. Waiting. It was as if the castle, ancient and weathered by centuries of... I didn't enunciate that enough. The presence of something else. Something watchful, waiting. It was as if the castle, ancient and weathered by centuries of history, had slipped into a deep and unnatural slumber. It was as if the castle, ancient and weathered by centuries of... Weathered. I'm not hitting that. Weathered. The presence of something else. Something watchful, waiting. It was as if the castle, ancient and weathered by centuries of history, had slipped into a deep and unnatural slumber. Let's see if we hit it that time. It was as if the castle, ancient and weathered by centuries of history, had slipped into a deep and unnatural something watchful, waiting. It was as if the castle, ancient and weathered by histories... Nope. Oopsie. Something watchful, waiting. It was as if the castle, ancient and weathered by centuries of history... Ancient and weathered by centuries of history, had slipped into a deep... Centuries of history had slipped into a deep and unnatural slumber. Okay. Slumber. And in that... Next thing... At 11:49... Starts with the men stiffen. Where did it go? Oh. There we go. His hand gripping her arm protectively. The men stiffen but do not break their gazes. Instead, their longing seems to deepen. One guard even dares a step forward, his face awash with a strange combination of fear and desire. Drago, The guard stammered. Even dares. Oh, I think it to deepen. Like one guard even dares a step forward. Instead, their longing seems to deepen. One guard even dares to step forward. Deepen. One guard even dares to step forward, his face awash with a strain. Dares to step forward, his face awash. Their longing seems to deepen. One guard even dares to step forward, his face awash with a strange combination of fear and desire. All right, fixed. Now we're going to go to 1203. Disrespect, but Lady Noelle, she's like... That one's okay. Going. Her words must have pierced his heart. That one's okay. One will harm you while I draw breath. One will harm you while I draw breath. Noelle's eyes shimmered. Okay, let's make sure. That's right. Wolves come and the men are under the spell. I won't let them get to you. 1650, there's a big fat breath. And the men are under the spell. But if it sounds like I go, or it's like a big breath sound, then I think it's kind of weird. The spell. So I tone it down. The spell. I won't let them get to you. All right, fixed that. Arc. The first volley rained down on the wolves, but the creatures didn't slow. Okay. That's all good. So now we will go through, that was chapter 3. Now we're going to go through chapter 4. Same deal. Front end of the file is going to be like 0.7 seconds. It's right at 1 second right now. So, chapter 4. Now we're at Ariel swept from the room, leaving Noelle with more questions than answers. 1, 2, 3. Trim the tail. And now we'll go through my list. Do you edit chapter by chapter? Yes, and I've tried it where I do it on the fly. And that honestly I think is my preferred way to do it, because I can basically take a break and rest my voice while I'm editing the chapter I just finished. Or I'll record and get on a roll, and then once I feel like I need a break, then I'll go back and edit what I've done so far. I think that's my preferred way, because once I finish that last chapter and edit it, then I'm like, oh, this is great, it's done. This time I tried it to where I just recorded a bunch of the chapters and I'm doing all my editing at the end, and that just feels like, it kind of feels like starting over in a way, because it's like I'm having to touch it again They say, do all narrators edit their recordings? No, not all narrators edit their recordings. There's an argument to be made that you should not proof your own work. So I think that's true, unless you are like super, super detail oriented, which most people aren't. I am like halfway detail oriented, so I can listen to my own work and be critical of it. I can say I can now. Up until maybe like the last project I did, I might have been a little head in the clouds over it. But I'm starting to be like more critical of myself as a narrator. I'm not letting myself use the excuse of like, oh, well, I'm new. That's just how I sound. Now I'm like, okay, you've put some books out. Like you can't use that as, that's not a good enough excuse, basically. So what I do now is I still kind of proof my own thing, but I use something called Positron, which is like an AI helper. This is the first time I've used it, and I like it a lot because I do my own proofing, and it's caught things that I missed, like words that I swapped. I'll use like the word to instead of a. Like you saw me just fix something where I said, oh, that was supposed to be to, and I said a, and it was like something about a guard, like daring 2 step forward, and I had said daring a step forward. So it still made sense, but it just was the wrong word. Sometimes my brain likes to invent things that are not there. What exacerbated whatever feelings Lothario harbored, and when his eyes landed on Noelle, they lit up with a heat that made Drago stiff. What exacerbated whatever feelings Lothario harbored. You think most people do that? Yeah. The Positron's been really popular. I didn't trust it until I heard real people, like real narrators saying, oh yeah, I use this and I like it. It actually works pretty well. I've looked into it before and I thought, oh, this is just going to be clunky and it's just going to it's going to be another thing I have to do in the editing process. I'm still going to have to listen to it anyway, so I might as well just do my own proofing and not pay for Positron or whatever. But I gave it a try, and I'm willing to admit that I was wrong. It's also pickier than I am, so that's good. I am reading the actual book that gets put out, so there's actually been times where I have like auditioned for books and then I go find them, especially if they're on Kindle Unlimited, because I have Kindle Unlimited. Then I'll get the full copy of the book off there and I'll like read it just to see if I actually want to audition for the book or not. But we get the manuscript for the book, which is supposed to be that's supposed to be the file that was sent to print the book or to make the ebook, if that makes sense. Because it's supposed to match word for word the actual book, unless it's a different adaptation. Like there's you've probably noticed now, especially with like fantasy books and stuff, they're doing like the dramatized versions where it'll be like a full cast of 9 narrators that'll voice. It's not just the audiobook, it's a little more of a performance. It's like listening to a play kind of. And from what I understand, those I've tried listening to them and I haven't gotten on the bandwagon yet. I appreciate them for like the performance and stuff, but it's difficult for me. I like listening to the book and I'm like a mind movie person. So like I picture what's going on. I don't want any help basically with the visualization. So that's my only hang up with the dramatizations. But I think that the narrators and everybody that's in it do really good work, and I really enjoy certain scenes that are done that way. So those actually have some, because there's more of a cast, I think they take out like some of the dialogue tags and things like that. And they add sound effects and all kinds of stuff to kind of help show you what's going on instead of telling you as much as it would in a book. So theirs are adapted technically from what the actual book was. It's not word for word, but an unabridged audiobook, which is like a normal audiobook, is supposed to be word for word with the actual book. Respect, my king. The spell affects us all. Do not mistake Lothario. And you dare stand here now? Dang it, I left out a word. 3 minutes, 36 seconds. Mario, and you dare. Yeah, I hope that actually was clarifying. Sometimes I give way too much information, and it's fine if it gives you more questions. You can feel free to ask more questions. But I'm trying not, I really am trying not to overcomplicate things, because there's so many, a lot that goes along with narrating and audiobook production is simple. It's just a lot of simple things that you kind of do at the same time, which makes it complicated, if that makes sense. So reading and recording the book is kind of a simple task. You hit record, you give the performance, and there's like work that goes along with that. And then editing is a simple like audio editing process. But once you put all that stuff together, then that's whenever it becomes like a production. It's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of things going on. And typically, a lot of times, it's a lot of people that put their hands on it and make sure that it all jives. Finished, his stormy eyes blazing, he turned back to Lothario. And you dare to stand here now, looking at her as if you've forgotten your place? Stormy eyes blazing, he turned back to Lothario. And you dare to stand here now, looking at her as if you've forgotten your place? And you dare to stand here now. And you dare to stand here now. That needs to be a little smoother. Finished, his stormy eyes blazing, he turned back to Lothario. And you dare to stand here now, looking at her as if you've forgotten your place? Lothario. And you dare to stand here now, looking at her as if you've forgotten your place? Okay. I'm gonna make that match the rest of everything around. He turned, his stormy eyes blazing. He turned back to Lothario. And you dare to stand here now? That was before I claimed her as mine. Lothario. And you dare to stand here now, looking at her as if you've forgotten your place? Lothario's. And here, forgotten your place? Your place? Lothario squared his shoulder. We got that one. Drago. Later that 6:52. We're doing our I trust no one with you. Okay, what I need to do is have this I am going to... There's like kind of POV shifts in this where the but it's all third person, so I'm not really sure why we're doing POV shifts. Slammed onto the table, causing the map to flutter. His hackles raised, but Alec's right. Noelle's Are, she replied, moving to stand behind him. Darn it, I said behind when it was supposed to be beside on this part. She replied, moving to stand behind him. It wasn't far. You shouldn't have gone alone. I wasn't far, she replied, moving to stand behind him. No, I did it again. I really want this to say to stand beside him. Oh, dang it. It wasn't far, she replied, moving to stand beside him. All believes. You shouldn't have gone alone. I wasn't far, she replied, moving to stand beside him. There it is. So Ethel believes the caster must be found to break. I wasn't far, she replied, moving to stand beside him. And Ethel believes the caster must be... All right, fixed that one. Now we're going to go to... Sharp, to weaken us before Thorn attacks. Ariel's... One thing I like about the positron thing is it's a lot more sensitive than I am because I'm a person, I guess. It's like, that sounded really weird, but it's true. I listen to someone talk or dialogue or whatever, and even if it's not super crystal clear, I know what they're saying because it's conversational and it flows in a conversational manner. But AI doesn't always know that. So it sometimes picks up and thinks that I add words or add sounds whenever really it's just that connection sound that happens between words sometimes in dialogue to make it sound more realistic. Like, we don't want it to sound like a computer read this. You know, we don't want it. We want it to have like emotion and inflection and things like that. All right, that ends where it's supposed to. So now we're doing... Oh, whoops. We fixed that list. So now we're going to chapter 5. We have 5 things to fix on this one. On the men was evident in their soft gazes, and so same thing as before. We make sure that the front of the file is at 0.7 seconds. We make sure the end of the file is 3 seconds. To believe that they could face anything as long as they stood together. Okay, we got our 3-second ending. And our first pickup is at 4 minutes and 50 seconds. In this part, it's supposed to say, this was evident in their softened gazes, and I said soft gazes. Hold on the men was evident in their commanding the room. The moment Noelle entered, heads turned toward her. The spell's lingering hold on the men was evident in their softened gazes and the way their attention sharpened at her presence. The moment Noelle entered, heads turned toward her. Noelle? Drago's voice was a mixture of surprise and anger. What are you doing here? You should be in our room, safe. She ignored his words, her heart pounding as she pushed through the crowd toward him. You can't do this, Drago. Thorn is setting a trap. This isn't just a battle. It's a game to him. Drago's expression darkened, his frustration evident. Noelle, you don't understand. I do understand, she interrupted, her voice rising. I was his prisoner. I've seen how he operates. He's not just sending those wolves to attack. He's trying to draw you out, to weaken you and this castle. Drago's icy eyes blazed with frustration and protectiveness. You shouldn't be here arguing with me when danger is at our gates. Before Noelle could respond, a distant My notes app is making me crazy. Okay. Where's my next one? The moment Noelle entered, heads turned toward her. The spell's lingering hold on the men was evident in their softened gazes and the way their attention sharpened at her presence. Okay, there was a muffled sound. Oh yeah. Her presence. Hey, Anne, that is totally fine. I get it. On having to work and keep track of other things. I get it. need. All right, I need the next one. 736. Later, his fury radiating off of him in waves. What in the name? His fury radiating off of him in waves. Off of him. Off him in waves. Off him in waves. What in the name of Minartha are you doing? I added a word and I was able to go in and just like take that little part out. The editing process is kind of fun for me. Some people don't like it, but I do. Vulnerable. Drago. 816. Okay, fixed that weird pause. Drago. Drago froze. And the undeniable truth in her statement. He stepped. When it picks up my breaths as a gasp, that's whenever I'm like, okay, maybe I should tone down the breath sounds a little bit. Clenched his jaw, torn between his need to shield cord, and Drago clenched his jaw, torn between his need to shield. 1357. Oh. Shield her and the undeniable truth in her statement. We're going to tone down that breath and just... Statement. He stepped back. A lot better. Instead of it being like statement, then it's like statement. All right, and our end ends when it's supposed to. So let's save that. Move on to chapter 6. We have 5 items here. And so one more time with the putting the head of the file where it's supposed to be. Put the end of the file where it's supposed to be. Whatever challenges lay ahead, they would face them side by side. Okay.
By side.
Here we go. Got our little 3-second ending. I don't know. 3 seconds might be too long. I may change that. I may make it like 2 seconds. Because if we say they could face anything as long as they stood together. Chapter 6. No, yeah. Yes, I do that all the time. When so everybody that's not listening, Anne just asked, do you ever think that you need to re-record a part because you didn't like how it sounded? Yes, I do that frequently when I'm recording on the fly. So I do kind of a 2-part proofing process sometimes where I'll read like 2 paragraphs and then I'll listen to them back, because I also have a tendency to start reading really fast or go through like I get monotone, or I'm just not really giving it a performance anymore. I'm just reading aloud, which is okay, but it typically needs to be like more of a performance, I think. So for me, I like to kind of check that as it go, because I don't want to go back and listen to it at the end and realize that I've done an entire chapter that just sounds completely lifeless and monotone when it should be more of a performance. I think that will get better with more experience.
Later, as the last shadows of evening lengthened over Castle Blackstone, to match it, pushing her concerns aside. Just thinking about the castle.
All right, 6:43. We got to tone down a breath.
Forced herself to match it, pushing her concerns aside. Just thinking about then growls rose like thunder, accompanied by the snapping of branches and the pound. Then growls rose like thunder, accompanied by the snapping of branches.
That one's okay.
Battlements, the defenders of Castle Blackstone loosed a volley of arrows.
Okay, the end of chapter 6 ends on they would face them side by side. Okay, that one's done. That wasn't bad, because out of those 5 list of 5 things, there were only like 2 of them that were a little bit of a problem. We got 5 on this one again.
Chapter 7. Noel. The dawn at Castle Blackstone arrived. No need. Please allow me to prepare something for you. No need. Please allow me to prepare something for you. No need.
Gareth piped up quickly,
nearly spilling the pot. No need.
Gareth piped up quickly,
nearly spilling the. Please allow me to prepare something for you. No need.
Gareth piped up quickly. I think my voice keeps breaking on
Need.
up.
Gareth piped up quickly.
It did it again.
Please, allow me to prepare something for you. No need.
Gareth piped up quickly.
No need.
Gareth piped up quickly, nearly spilling the pot in his haste to turn toward her.
No need.
Gareth piped up quickly, nearly spilling the pot in his haste to turn toward her. Okay, got that one done.
Carefully. Noelle nodded, though her unease lingered. Lothario, your words tread dangerously close to insubordination. Said without preamble. Drusilla is missing. Hit Drago like a hammer. Drusilla had always been a thorn in his side. Her
And she wasn't alone. That's how chapter 7 ends. And she wasn't alone. Okay. Chapter 7 pickups done. Now we go chapter 8. Which one's that? Oh. Look at me when I was recording raw files. I started doing the header and footer correctly. Now hopefully I did it for everything. We're about to find out.
Chapter 8. Drago. Endless. And now, with Drusilla
It does not like the way I say Drusilla.
as if lulled into a sinister slumber.
401.
Lulled into a sinister slumber.
We're going to tone that puppy down.
Slumber. Drago. You want to go out there? Malik asked, his tone uncharacteristically cautious.
.433.
Took the rare. Are you certain you want to go out there? Lingered in his sapphire eyes. Are you certain you want to go out there? Malik asked, his tone uncharacteristically cautious. Are you certain you want to go out there? Malik asked, his tone uncharacteristically cautious. I'll not leave any corner unchecked. Striding toward them, her piercing gaze locked onto sharp. I stopped him before he went any further.
.54.
I stopped him before he cornered her, Bianca explained, her tone steady but sharp. I stopped him before it went any further, but he was persistent. Steady but sharp. I stopped him before it went any further, but he was persistent. A low growl. Persistent. A low growl rumbled in Drake's ear. He murmured, I should have been. It's not your fault. All right, she murmured always. That's how it ends, so that's okay. Good to go. Chapter 9. Chapter 9. Every corner of his heart, every secret he keeps. Okay, yeah, that was a really weird spot to end that chapter. I forgot chapter 9 was like that. He keeps. Bravado faltering under Drago's wrath. The spell. Drago's wrath. The spell, he began. Expression hardening again. Stay focused on your duties. 7:29. Hardening again. Stay focused. Again. There's a little pop noise. Stay focused on your that it detected as a hiccup, but really it was like it was a mouth like gurgle sound. Soon we will, Drago assures her, though duties. If we don't find a way to break the spell soon, we will. Softly. If we don't find a way to break the spell soon, we will, Drago assured her. Though his... We will, Drago assured her. We will, Drago assured her, though his voice carried the... Though his... Though his voice carried the weight of his own doubt. His gaze was wild, the blueness of his eyes glowing faintly in the... All right.
set is done. You know what's cool? I think I can start doing the stream through Positron. Maybe. I don't know. Alright, we want to be... Alright, let's save chapter 9. Go to chapter 10. We're already at 7 seconds. 0.7 seconds on the front end. And 3 seconds on the back end. You know, Anne, I think you might be right. I think 3 seconds might be too long. But it's like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, chapter, whatever. I think that's considered the standard right now, so I'm going to leave it. But I don't know that I'll keep it like that for very long. If we're being honest,
coincidence, and the full extent of her schemes had yet to be revealed. When Noelle... Drago, Julius screeched, his voice an unnatural echo that grated against Drago's ears.
Yeah, so then it ends up being
Drago barked a sharp retort, his growl reverberating through the air as he leapt again, swiping with his claws. This time he grazed Julius's wing, eliciting an angry caw. The bird retaliated with a dive, its talons raking across Drago's shoulder. Drago, Julius screeched, his voice an unnatural echo that...
I'm trying to, in my mind, compare audiobooks that I've read. The one I'm reading right now, I think, has that standard, like 3 second ending, 0.7 second startup, and I just can't decide if I like it or not, because it's...
Drago.
I like it in the current one I'm reading.
Julius screeched, his voice an unnatural echo.
Or listening to, I guess.
Absorbing most of the blow, but it stoked the fire of his rage.
Alright, I'm pretty positive this ends where it's supposed to. I don't know why I scrolled up a while ago. That was weird. Alright, that ended where it was supposed to. So, save chapter 10, go to chapter 11. Yes, it's my kettle. It's very loud. That's what I get for getting a... I don't know, I think they all might be loud, the electric ones. It'll be done in a second.
Chapter 11. Chapter 11.
What I need to do is... I think I need to... I should have turned up the sensitivity on this so it'll pick up like all of the weird sounds.
the poison. Julius called one final time before voice, frantic and full of desperation.
Thank you for letting me know that you heard something in the background, though, Anne. Hi, how are you? I'm so glad you're back with us. All right, at 4:26.
Through the haze, he heard Noelle's voice, frantic and full of desperation.
Some of my breaths do sound like gasps. Frantic and full of desperation.
Desperation. Her hands clasped tightly in front of her. Her heart ached as she watched him. Her hands clasped tightly in front of her.
I added a word. At 16:47. Oh, you're leaving work. That's good. That's always fun. It's finally Friday.
Rise and fall of his breathing, a comforting reminder that he was still alive. He was still alive. He was still alive. He was still He was still alive. He was still alive. He was still alive. He was still alive. Alive. He was alive. That he was alive. He was alive. He was alive.
I'm just going to re-record this. Yeah, why are you shouting at me? It's all in caps.
Lightly over his chest. She could feel the steady rise and fall of his breathing, a comforting reminder that he was alive. A comforting reminder that he was alive. Lightly over his chest. She could feel the steady rise and fall of his breathing, a comforting reminder that he was alive. The steady rise and fall of his breathing, a comforting reminder that he was alive. Drago reached for her hand. Alive. Drago reached for her hand again.
I just heard a chime and I don't know where it's coming from. Where is it coming from? I have no idea what that was. I don't have a message anywhere. That was really weird. They could face anything together. Sometimes in like romantasy books, it's very like, you can sing like a man, but you can't talk like a man. That's funny. I have a draft saved where I tried to growl like Corbin King, and it didn't go terrible. But I don't know if I'm ever going to post it. That puppy may never see the light of day. He was describing how he does his growly voice, and I was like, I can do it. But will we ever have a need for a growly female character? Probably not. I guess I'll get to use it if on my next project. Actually, in the series, I think there's another character in the next book that he may get a super growly voice. Okay, come on. All right. Sorry, I was trying to get my tea thing. If any of you are in Texas, especially, or if you're going to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area ever at any point in your lives, then you need to go to this place. It's called Old South Pancake House. It's in Fort Worth, down close to where they have the livestock show and rodeo. And it is a fantastic diner type experience. But they make something called German pancakes, which are delicious. If you don't know what those are, you need to look them up. Especially if you like tart and sweet things. Our internet has been wacky today. Saving chapter 11. Paging chapter 12. Chapter 12. You're up. Until I stopped.
Be there to protect him, even if it meant putting herself in harm's way.
All right, we got our back end padding. Thanks for the likes. I just fogged my glasses up. I don't know if y'all could see that. That was weird. All right, chapter 12. Yes, that pause was too long, but I fixed it.
Expression sent a chill down her spine, calculating and unrelenting.
Dang it. I don't know if it's like, I think it might be more frustrating to me when I mess away.
In the dim torchlight, his expression sent a chill down her spine, calculated and unrelenting. Calculated and unrelenting. Chill down her spine, calculated and unrelenting. In the dim torchlight, his expression sent a chill down her spine, calculated and unrelenting. Spine, calculated and unrelenting. Noel. Relenting. Noel, he said, his voice low.
Ow. soft. I didn't have that all the way off my ear. I need to get some of the in-ear things, because these like hours long sessions, these over-the-ear headphones are making me crazy.
Hallway floor. Noelle rushed to his side, her hands. Responsibility pressed heavily on him. Oh, and responsibility pressed heavily on him.
Okay, here we go. Got rid of that.
Trust.
And then at
the spell. It's not simple, man. But an ally we can trust. Noelle. Noelle. Noelle hesitated, her heart.
Okay. Fixed that pause. Now, let's see if this is a word.
Moments later, the deep, resonant blast of the castle horn. He said, his voice steely with resolve. Lightning. If we don't act now, it won't matter whether Drago fights or not.
$13.26. We've got... Sorry, there are just not as many opportunities I thought to actually record here.
It won't matter whether Drago fights or not. Act now. It won't matter whether Drago fights or not. He said.
Okay.
Splintering wood and crumbling stone sent a jolt of...
I said sent, and it was supposed to be sending here. So at 14:05, we've got...
Said grim. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone sent a jolt of fear through her. She opened her mouth to argue, but was interrupted by another crash from outside. The sound of...
We're going to try that again.
She opened her mouth to argue, but was interrupted by another crash from outside. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone sending a jolt of fear through her.
My voice faltered.
The sound of splintering wood.
One more time with feeling.
She opened her mouth to argue, but was interrupted by another crash from outside. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone sending a jolt of fear through her.
We got so close. Oh, we got so close.
Outside. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone sending a jolt of fear through her. To fear. Outside. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone sending a jolt of fear through her. Fear through her. Fear through her. Crumbling stone sending a jolt of fear through her.
No, that sounds bad.
She opened her mouth to argue, but was interrupted by another crash from outside. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone sending a jolt of fear through her.
There we go.
Outside. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone and crumbling and crumbling and crumbling wood and crumbling stone, sending a jolt of fear through her. Jolt of fear through her. Her swallowed hard. Through her, swallowed hard.
Oh, dang it.
The sound of
There we go.
the sound of splintering wood and crash from outside. The sound of
All right, breath sound goes down.
outside. The sound of splintering wood and crumbling stone, sending a jolt of fear through her. She swallowed hard, her heart pounding.
Okay, there we go. Now we got it all flowing well.
Arms way.
Okay. So now, saving chapter 12, opening chapter 13. Front end is 0.7. Back end is getting 3 seconds.
He echoed, his voice a promise as much as a declaration.
One, two, three. All right, chapter 13, fix the second.
And its glowing eyes burning with an unnatural fury.
Starting off strong. 17 seconds. Added a word that wasn't supposed to be there.
Its glowing eyes burning with an unnatural fury.
But take that.
Gritted his teeth, forcing himself to stand tall despite the burning. There's even the smallest chance I can reason with Thorn and stop this war?
All right, chapter 13 ends with a declaration. Okay, good. $14.
Chapter 14. Noel. 14. Noel.
Oh, I gotta do my ending.
Great love and unity.
Chapter 14.
And Draco gently lowered it to his lips. His expression a mix. Annoyance lingered. You could have told me, she said, Noelle. I only wanted you to feel what I feel.
I only want you to feel like I feel. Feel what I feel. And I messed up and said, wanted. At 5:04.
Well, I only wanted you to feel what I feel. I only wanted you to wanted you to feel want you to only want you to feel only want you to feel only want you to feel replaced by a calm, unwavering devotion. Don't be mad, Noelle.
I only want you to feel what I feel.
How much I how much I love you.
I only want you to feel what I feel.
How much I love you. How much I need you.
What I feel.
How much I need you. Her heart. I need you. Her heart melted at his words, and she doesn't do anything halfway, and it's clear he adores you.
They would face the darkness together. And that is correct. Oh, sorry, people on my that are listening through this. I just took a drink. And I have been informed that it sounds rather disgusting when I sit this close to my microphone and take a drink. So, I apologize. All right, front end is done.
Against the castle walls, the only noises as he closed the door behind them.
Malia, it's only through if you're on Twitch, Instagram, or YouTube. That's what comes in through here. If I'm on TikTok, then it's just through my phone microphone, so it doesn't pick up nearly as much. But I do my read-along stream on those other apps, so you can actually see like what I'm working on and all that fun stuff. I think I just don't understand how Twitch works. If we're being honest. We want Google Chrome. Positron. Done. Whoa, that's weird. Okay. Now, this is going to be so tiny. All right. Whatever. Sorry, people watching on where's my super suit? So we're going to turn off Good Notes, put on Positron. That way you all can see what's going on. All right, did we fix this already? Yes. So chapter 15 is all, yeah. All right, 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
We gather here tonight under the watchful gaze of the moon. He began the ceremony. We gather. We gather here tonight under the watch.
I don't know what it thought it heard.
I've never seen this castle so alive.
This is incredible, Bianca said, twirling Noelle in a circle. I've never seen the castle so alive. Circle. I've never seen the castle so alive. You and Drago are going to be unstoppable. I've never seen the castle so alive. You and Drago are going to be unstoppable. Noelle laughed, her cheeks flushed. Oh, I think I made myself not like Bianca. Seven minutes and 10 seconds.
Cutting through the revelry like a blade.
That one was correct. $10.23. We've got
tipped with the wolves' unearthly howls turned to shrieks of
Jazzy
pain
hints of the
as the
follow.
projectile stuck true. Turned to shrieks of pain as the projectile stuck true.
Struck true. I said stuck. Dang it.
Lawrence and a group of archers rained down arrows tipped with silver and fire.
The wolves' unearthly howls turned to shrieks of pain as the projectiles struck true.
Arrows tipped with silver and fire.
The wolves' unearthly howls turned to shrieks of pain as the projectiles struck true.
Lawrence and a group of archers rained down arrows tipped with silver and fire.
The wolves' unearthly howls turned to shrieks of pain as the projectiles struck true.
Fire.
The wolves' unearthly howls turned to shrieks of pain as the projectiles struck true.
The flames clung to their decaying forms, spreading rapidly and
12:57.
of protest was lost in the din of battle, reaching Drago just as the mutated wolf loomed over him for a
And then 15:05.
killing blow. Noelle raised her crossbow and fired. The bolt struck the creature in the shoulder, causing it to recoil with a snarl. The brief reprieve allowed Drago to regain his footing. He growled at Noelle, both in warning and frustration, but she ignored him, standing her ground beside him. "I'm not leaving you," she shouted, her voice. Many lives had been lost, and the threat of thorn still loomed. Drago, breathing heavily, turned to Noelle.
All right, 15:45.
But this isn't over. Thorn won't stop until we end him.
Close the door behind them. Okay, that's correct. Save. Okay. What are you doing after the pickups? I honestly think this is going to take me a while because I've got to do the pickups and then I need to do a listen through for, like, I have some random clicks and things. So this is probably going to be it for today. I probably won't start a new book until Monday. I have, looking at my calendar, I'm doing so basically I already proofed this, and what I put in, what I'm doing now is I'm testing positron to see if I want to use it, and I'm doing the pickups that it caught that I made mistakes on, that I didn't catch when I did my proof. So I'm sort of doing an experiment today, going through this, and then I'll upload these later tonight and send them over to the author to review. But then the next book, so the next 2 books I'm working on are also in this series. This is book 6 has to be in by the 19th. Book 7 has to be in by the 31st. And I have another book that has to be in by the 31st that I'm waiting for feedback from the author on. I goofed my schedule because I thought that it said it was due, that other book, I thought it was due July 31st, but it actually was due August 31st. So I got it done super early, and then it goofed my schedule for everything else. That was my bad. Scheduling mix-up.
The two stood together, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.
So we got our front end and our back end.
Dean.
Now, let's go through pickups. Done.
Against his side. Her hand rested on his chest. Her hands.
Oh, darn it. This was supposed to say her head rested on his chest, and I said hand.
Her hand rested. One arm draped protectively over Noelle, who was curled against his side.
Her head rested on his chest. Her hand splayed across his heart.
Her head rested on his chest. Her hand splayed across his heart.
Okay. I don't know what that was. Did I get a chime? Did you hear a chime on your end? I keep having a random, chime sound. It's distracting.
Across his heart. Her head rested on his chest. Her hand splayed across his heart. Her head rested on his chest. Her hand splayed across his heart. His other hand rested. Hand splayed across his heart. His other hand rested.
Okay, fixed that.
Rough fingers tracing lazy patterns across her bare shoulder.
2 minutes and 51 seconds.
His rough fingers tracing lazy patterns across her bare shoulder. The grounding rhythm of his heartbeat. His arms were wrapped protectively around her, his rough fingers tracing lazy patterns along her bare shoulder. Her bare shoulder. For a moment. Bare shoulder. For a moment. For a moment. Around her, his rough fingers tracing lazy patterns along her bare shoulder.
Okay.
Arm. I'm already in danger just by being by.
I added a word.
For a moment. I'm already in danger just by being by your side. But don't you see? Noel pressed, placing a hand on his arm. I'm already in danger just being by your side. The only way we can face it is together. I'm already.
Oh, dang it, I cut myself off.
But don't you see? Noel pressed, placing a hand on his arm. I'm already in danger just being by your side.
That's too much of a pause. Poop.
But don't you see? Noel pressed, placing a hand on his arm. I'm already in danger just being by your side. The only way we can face it is together. I'm already in danger just being by your side. The only way we can face it is together. A hand on his arm. I'm already in danger just being by your side. Everything. It'll only put you in more danger. But don't you see? Noel pressed, placing a hand on his arm. I'm already in danger just being by your side. The only way we can face it is together. You see? Noel pressed. See? Noel pressed, placing a hand on his arm. I'm already in danger just being by your side. The only way we can face it is together. Drago sighed, the weight of his past and his fears pressing heavily on him.
Okay.
Together.
Fixed that.
Together. The sound of the horn.
Yeah, that's too long of a pause. Okay, 11:28.
Together. The sound of the horn echoed through the castle, rousing Drago and Noel from their peaceful morning.
Alright, I shortened that, said it was too long, and I agree.
But it can't be good if the horn's been blown. As they descended.
It caught me doing an inhale through my nose and called it snoring.
Echoed through the castle, rousing Drago and Noel from their peaceful. Stairwell toward the castle gates. But it can't be good if the horn's been blown. As they descended the
Fixed.
eyes flicked to Drusilla, who glared up at him defiantly. Recoiled slightly, but refused to leave her side. I
wonder what this is. I'm sorry I just got so close to you. I was trying to read something. It really doesn't like the way I say Drusilla.
Elusive. Finally, Drago turned to Ethel. Nodding, his shoulders slumping as he turned and left. Once they were alone, nodding, his shoulders slumping as he turned and left.
I had a whistle that it picked up like I added something to it. 2026.
Turned to Noelle, his expression a mix of determination and work. Turned and left. And left. Once as he turned and left. 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 Left.
All right, fix that. Oh yeah, no, you're good. You don't really have to be super active on a right now because I don't have my stream set up to where I can show you what I'm doing on TikTok. I can do it on the other platforms, but not on TikTok. So other than that, it's just like the likes, like tapping the screen a bunch of times helps. And then I'm not one of those people that's like, send me gifts. Like I don't like that. So, but other than that, it helps me, and I like it whenever people are just hanging out, listening. Kind of feels like a co-working type environment. And now that I have some people like you that are on a bunch of my lives, it's nice to have a sounding board to say. Like Anne is like that too. She's not on here anymore, but earlier I was talking about editing. Oh yeah, no worries at all. But when we were talking about editing, and I was talking about the spacing that I put at the beginning and the end of a chapter, and so I was like asking her what she thought about it. She was giving me feedback. So that's helpful. All right, we're good with chapter 16. Now we're going to go to chapter 17. Format our beginning and ending. Uh-oh, I lost my mouse.
And for the fragile bond they were still building.
Oh, I bet I need to charge my mouse, my trackpad. Okay. I have all kinds of fun charging cords and stuff all set up over here. Okay. Yep, that's what it was. Yeah, I like the smaller view too. There's some narrators, like if you ever watch the other Carmen Chantel, she'll have like 150 people watching, and they're like, people will be like comment after comment after comment, and that's really cool because like we want to build a community and stuff, but she has to get to the point where she has to tell people like, okay, I cannot reply to you right now, I have to work. Like I'll reply to you when I take a break. Mm-hmm. Hers are very easy to get lost in. I usually get her to notice me because I like to go, before I go live, I try to go into other narrators' live streams and like drop a comment, say hi, and then I'll do like a bunch of likes. I'll just type the screen a bunch of times. And if you tap a bunch of times, then at the bottom where it shows the likes, like right up here, it shows a heart and a number. And then if you keep tapping, it'll show like a heart meter. So I'll send that all the way to the end and chat a couple of times back and forth, and then I'll go, get on my own live. But alrighty, chapter 17, pickups. Yeah, I don't know if the heart meter actually does anything, but it feels.
The firelight cast sharp contrasts on Drusilla's face.
Oh my gosh, all these pickups. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14 pickups that were all about how the way I say Drusilla.
Eli, and the air seemed to thrum with the weight of his authority.
All right, this one I do have to re-record. 11:54.
Guards began to lead Eli toward.
Oh, this is a long sentence. It was like the bane of my existence when I recorded it.
Smile. You may not think so, but it's my choice to make.
The room was thick with tension as the guards began to lead Eli towards the doors that led to the West Tower.
Choice to make.
The room was thick with tension as the guards began to lead Eli towards the doors that led. I did this yesterday too, so this needs to be. The room was thick with tension as the guards began to lead Eli towards the doors that led to the West Tower. No.
Smile. You may not think so, but it's my choice to make.
The room was thick with tension as the guards began to lead Eli towards the doors that led to the West Tower. I feel like that was a pretty good.
To make.
The room was thick with tension as the guards began to lead Eli towards the doors that led to the West Tower.
No.
That's one of the sentences
Tower.
that's like
No else.
tricky. It's because if you read it, it's like, okay, cool. But then if you try to narrate it, say it out loud. I think it's because of the began to lead Eli. If they would have said, as the guards led Eli towards the doors that led to the West Tower.
Noelle's heart ached as she watched.
All right, that ended correctly, so we're going to save that and move on to chapter 18. And again, front end formatting. Back end formatting.
And she wouldn't let anything or anyone stop her this time.
Okay. So let's go 18. More Drusillas. Okay, there were no... I didn't misread any of 18. Success. That's a huge win, because I usually have at least one word, but I don't think I caught one. I didn't catch one in my proof, and then Positron didn't catch one. So, yeah. Uh-oh. 7 suggested. I get 7 pickups on this one. And
Intentions were, and whether this was just the beginning of a larger problem.
okay. Yes, I have read Twilight. I was a big time Twilight fan, like, as it came out back in the day. I don't think so. I think that I don't know. I didn't really like either of them. Even when all that craze was going on, like the Team Edward versus Jacob thing, I was like, they both kind of have problems. Like, Edward was kind of boring, and he was like controlling and like too serious and gave off weird vibes. And then Jacob was just like a little boy, like not a manly man. I don't know. People would be like, Team Edward or Team Jacob, and I was like, Team neither. They're both kind of terrible. Yeah, I think I read it in 20... Oh, I'm gonna age myself. It was when the books were coming out, so it had to be like... I think I started reading them right before New Moon came out. Yeah, Jazzy, I think I was like maybe a freshman in high school. I think I was in high school, but I wasn't like... And I also read really fast. I've always read really fast. So I read Twilight right before New Moon came out, I think. So I read Twilight, and then when New Moon came out, I finished it in like... But I just didn't get as into it as other people on the whole, like, Team Edward versus Team Jacob. Yeah. I'm 33, if that helps. We're doing math. Yeah, okay, 31. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I was a junior. I can't remember. I guess I could look up when they came out. But I think the whole... Do you remember the drama about her coming out with the books and like it took her so long to come out with the last one or something. And then she said she was going to end it there and not write anymore in the series. And people were like, no, we love you. And she was like, I'm getting too much hate over all of this. It's not fun anymore. I'm not going to write anymore. And I think that was part of that. And then when I went to college and I had like no time to read, I was like, reading's boring. It's not cool. I went through one of those phases. And okay, so that it was a whole thing with her. And because I think what happened is someone leaked her book or something. I vaguely remember this. I don't know if this is true. But I did the same thing. I was like, it turned me off, and I was like, I don't like this anymore. It's, I'm frustrated because I find a series I like, and then it ends, the author doesn't finish it, so I'm just done. And in the last few years, I think at the end of 23, I started kind of reading again. And so then all of 24, now all of 25 so far, I read like 100 books in 2024. I have like my reading, my love for reading has come back with a vengeance.
Chapter 19.
I get very sad when I don't know if you're saying sad about like the thing that happened with Stephanie Meyer, or if you're talking about it being sad about not reading for a while. But I get sad whenever I think about all the time that I spent like not reading, and I just was like, reading makes me so happy. And my life would have been a lot simpler in the years that I was in college if I would have like studied and done what I was supposed to and read my books in my free time and not been out like trying to party and do all kinds of crazy stuff.
His voice low and sharp as he reached for her. What are you doing out of bed? His voice low and sharp as he reached for her.
157.
Reached for her. Reached for her.
Yeah. Okay, let me catch up. Jazzy, you just finished a book today. You're definitely... That's really good. That's good. I've been in an arc phase lately, and so I have been trying to... Oops. I didn't mean to move y'all. I've been in like an arc phase, so I've been trying to read more arc books.
Reach for her.
And
he reached for her.
I really like that.
He reached for her. As he reached for her. As he reached for her.
And then, Trope-tastrophe. That is a amazing username. Trope-tastrophe. I love that. I'm going to use that actually, because there's some books that are doozies in like the amount of tropes that they have. So I got my job as a narrator just by so the way that I explain it, I don't know if other like voice actors that are maybe like more official than me, I think they probably hate this, but technically anybody can be a narrator. Like you can start narrating for virtually not free, but like there's a website called ACX that is like the pipeline into Audible, and anybody can create an account and start auditioning for books to try to become a narrator. Now, you're going to have to get the right equipment and learn a little technique and things like that in order to like land projects and everything. But the actual, being able to audition and get started as a narrator is not as difficult as people think. But I also say that with like a big flashing asterisk, which is, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to read a book out loud. That's the very foundation of it. You need to be able to read out loud, but it's also acting, it's also a performance. So being able to understand characters and what they probably should sound like, and being able to like kind of picture what's going on is kind of important, because you have to, only using your voice, bring that to life in an audiobook. So you have to be able to do that. And that process takes a long time. For every finished hour of an audiobook, there's probably been anywhere from like 3 to 6 hours of work behind the scenes to actually record it, edit it, and get it ready to be consumed. And you have to be able to do all of that recording time sitting very still by yourself, basically, in a soundproof environment. So it can be very lonely. And if you're somebody who doesn't do well with solitude and isolation, then a career like this can kind of mess with your head. I think that's something people don't really think about before they're like, I want to be a narrator. And I'm like, go for it. If you feel like you can handle these things, like,
Busy read for her. Busy read for her.
lonely is my life. I know. Same. Okay, so Amelia, yes, audiobooks are a big part of what I do too, because I just listen to them while I do other things. Jazzy, I was referring to the drama, however, I agree. I think everybody, I don't know, there's a lot of people, that's common for people to have like gone through a time period where they just don't read at all, and then they start reading again and they're like, why did I ever stop? I love this so much. And then, yeah, I listen more than I read right now. If I read a book, I'm probably doing arcs. And yes, Amelia, like an arc reader. There's a thing called Book Sirens where you can sign up, and if you have Goodreads and things like that, they have a lot of arc books available. And from the way that I understand it is there's like tiers of it. So whenever you're like a new arc reader, you can start you can start doing reviews, and then as you have more reviews done, then maybe you get access to like different arc books. I don't know. I'm not really 100% sure how that works. It sounds kind of sad, but it's because the VF is work. Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm also going through a phase right now where like I don't want to watch TV. Like I randomly find things that I enjoy watching, but TV's not really doing it for me. Oh, and Tropetastrophe, yes. So if you write a book, then you get to pick your narrator. That is the way it works. And unless you hire somebody to like handle the audiobook thing for you, then they'll probably pick the narrator because that's what you hired them to do. But if you want to pick the narrator for your book, then I think you definitely get that. Oh, cool. Well, I am always happy to hear about new books. Are you going through a like trad publishing route, or are you an indie author? Elliot, my genre I like to read changes. So for nearly all of 24, it was fantasy, like romantasy. And I still like that a lot. Right now, I'm going through a bit of a like crime and thriller phase because I'm going to BoucherCon. I think I was telling you about that yesterday. So I'm excited about BoucherCon. It's in a few weeks. And that's a like crime, thriller, mystery book convention. So I'm trying to kind of get my brain in that mode before I go to that and be ready to consume a lot of information about those books. And my book ideas that I have circulating in my head right now are in that realm. So I'm trying to maybe see if that will like inspire me to actually start writing. Troptastrophe. Okay, so with your trad publishing route, I think that's up to whatever agreement you have going on with your publisher. I don't know, I don't think they always have the audiobook rights or anything like that, but that would be something to check with them on. But I would imagine if you have a good publisher that you're happy with, then they may handle the, like, putting the book up for audition and receiving the submissions. And then if you say you want to do you want to listen to them and you want to pick the narrator, then I'm sure they would be like, oh yeah, of course. That kind of seems like a no-brainer. Have I done romantasy? No, but I want to. So my natural demeanor is very, kind of, when I'm in conversation with people, it's witty. I like little one-liners. I like to kind of catch people off guard. I'm a little sarcastic. So I feel like something in that realm would fit me. I just have not found... I've auditioned for a couple in the past that have just been like comedy type books. But I think they wanted it was more of like a romance comedy, and the female main character, they wanted somebody that sounded more youthful, I think.
Busy read for her.
I love romantasy with wit. Oh my gosh, I love a borderline snarky female character that makes me laugh. I do not like it whenever I'm reading in any kind of book, but especially like a romantasy where the female main character is like whiny and just insufferable, because I'm like, it's fantasy. You can make her be like the coolest chick that ever walked the planet, and you choose to make her a whiny baby. Like, what are you doing? That's what goes through my head.
His voice low and sharp as he read for her. Quickly masked it with defiance. Noelle, he growled, his voice low and sharp as he reached her. His voice low and sharp as he reached her. What are you...
Okay.
Still in effect. Half the men in the castle would corner you without a second...
Gosh darn it. These words. I shouldn't have said anything earlier about, like, I didn't misread anything. Troptastrophe, you missed a real live moment of that personality earlier. When I started my live, somebody came in and liked it and followed me and did, they were like, started out cool. And then the first comment they said was, chunky glasses are not the vibe. And I was like, well, commenting rude things in someone's comment section is not the vibe, but here we are.
Half the men in the castle would corner you.
Yeah, I am really a nice person. But I also think that people deserve to be called out whenever they're acting shitty. Yes, that's the thing. I love that about the bookish community too. We support each other. Everybody is here for it. Especially like all the narrators that I've met and stuff on Book Talk or Instagram or whatever have been great. But there's a few people that pop up on Book Talk or like in the book community who are just not cool. I'm talking about the people who are like, you know, romantasy isn't a real fantasy. It's just not, it's not as good as the real thing. And then people that are like, oh my gosh, you read dark romance? What's wrong with you? Like those kind of people, the judgy people that like pop in every once in a while. But I feel like Book Talk does a really good job of being like, hey, quit being judgy. It's kind of that thing like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Like, why are you getting on to people for what they like to read? Nobody's forcing you to read it.
Half the men in the castle would corner. Do you have any idea how reckless you're being? The spell is still in effect. Half the men in this castle would corner you without a second thought if they found you alone in the halls at night.
Judgmentalists, they are everywhere.
Do you have any idea how reckless you're being? The spell is still in effect. Half the men in this castle would corner you without a second thought if they found you alone in the halls at night. Half the men in this castle would corner you. Would corner you without a second thought if they found you alone in the halls at night. They found you alone in the halls at night. Noelle spun on her heel to face him.
Oh no, someone just commented on my Twitch thing and it's in French and I don't speak French. I'm so sorry, I don't speak French. Okay. Okay, nothing negative, just positive. All right, I'll take your word for it. I don't know what it says anyway, so.
Still in effect.
Fixed that.
Every day. Then break the spell.
Oh. 316 has...
Her eye. Then break the day.
There it is.
Then break the spell. You tonight. Why were you headed towards the West Tower? Her silence was telling, and his expression darkened. You were going to free Eli, weren't you? She snapped. Noelle looked away, guilt tightening her throat.
I have two different.
I couldn't just let him take the fall for Drusilla's actions, she admitted.
I am doing really well tonight. I'm finishing up editing this book, and then I'm going to send it off to the author and have a relaxing weekend.
She snapped, her voice echoing slightly.
That's good to hear. Yeah, how are you doing? I thought you were commenting, was it last night or the night before? I can't remember. My days are all kind of going together.
You tonight. Why were you headed towards the West Tower? Slightly in the... What? Why were you... And what exactly were you planning to do tonight? Why were you heading toward the West Tower? Tonight. Why were you heading toward the West Tower?
All right.
Tower. Her silence was telling. As his thumb brushed away a tear that had escaped.
Okay, that actually was correct. 15. Yep, we're good on that ending. We've got our buffer zone.
Problem. Intentions were, and whether this was just the beginning of a larger problem.
Mainly, I hate drama also. I try to avoid it at all costs. I sit over here and I read my books and I meet other narrators, and that's pretty much it. Was it really 3 days ago? Oh my gosh. Okay. I try to walk 10 kilometers. Good for you. I need to do that. I need to get back on that. I've been sitting in this booth for too much time lately because I messed my schedule up. So I'm trying to get back to where I only record a few hours a day, and then I have time to do all of my editing and everything, and I can go on walks and stuff again like I want to. But is this your job, or is it an activity you do for spare time? So this is kind of my job. I live in Texas, and I live on a ranch. So we run a ranch. We have cows and horses, and when I'm not doing ranch, the athlete. I think I have heard of him, but I don't know, because I think he's really, he's a Canadian thing, like a Canadian celebrity. Oh wow, are you training to do that? Are you gonna do that? I'm chatting with somebody on Twitch who says they run 10 kilometers a day, and then we're talking about Terry Fox. He wanted to run from the Atlantic side to the Pacific side, but he had cancer, and the cancer ended up taking him out before he was able to complete that, which is really sad. Let's see. Joe Jordan, hello. Is this an OV audiobook? Own voices? Joe, are you saying, is it like an own voices, like a real voices one? Or are you saying like a overdrive? So Terry Fox ran 6,600 kilometers total. Oh my gosh. That's insane. Oh, yes. Yeah. Joe, I am learning so many new terms. I have learned there's like a term for everything nowadays. So yes, this is the current book that I'm editing is book 3 in a series called the Warrior Kingdom series, and so this book is called Irresistible to the Alpha. You can see that on my little sticker thing. The primary characters in this book, there's humans, there's one character that's an elf, and then the main king, like Drago, is a wolf shifter. And so like he is the alpha. And he's betrothed and marries Noelle, who is the human girl in the book. Or I think she's human as far as we know right now. This is, you know how this is a 7-book series, so we're at like 3 of 7. So you know how book 3, typically they start kind of sprinkling in some things for later. And we've gotten a hint that Noelle is like the key to beating the bad guy. So I would imagine she's got something going on. We just don't know what it is yet. Oh my gosh, that is insane. So I'm reading your chat about the number of kilometers, and he only had one leg. That's insane. That really makes me think like I have no excuses. I have both my
Beginning.
All right, we got our 3-second padding on the end of this. 11, 12, 13. So we got 11, 12, 13. Okay, so let's go back home. And now we need to do...
Ease. She tilted her head back to look at him, tracing the...
Again, starting off strong with skipping a word at 28 seconds. I didn't even make it a full minute in. It'd be like that sometimes.
She tilted her head back to look at him.
I'm not sure what melasse is. Is that a French word or is it... what? I don't know. If it's a French word, then I might know the English word for it.
She tilted her head back to look at him, tracing the strong lines of...
Oh, where did it go? There it is. Okay.
As if shielding her from every worry that might try to seep into their moment of peace.
She tilted her head back to look at it. I almost did it again. I keep skipping a word on this.
As if shielding her from every worry that might try to seep into their moment of peace.
She tilted her head back to look up at him. I don't like that either.
As if shielding her from every worry that might try to seep into their moment of peace.
She tilted her head back to look up at him.
Tracing the strong...
She tilted her head back to look up at him,
tracing the strong lines of his face with her eyes. As if shielding her from every worry that might try to seep into their moment of peace.
She tilted her head back to look up at him, tracing the strong lines of his face with her eyes.
tracing the strong lines of his face with her eyes. She tilted her head back to look up at him, tracing the strong lines of his face with her eyes. In the firelight, in the peace, of peace, she tilted her. Let's see. The factory was hit by a train in Halifax. Sounds terrible. She tilted. I don't dislike molasses, but it's like, it's so thick and like. She tilted her head back to look up at him. That would be so gross. Hey, Jackson. Thanks, Jackson. What do you stream? What's your deal on here? At him, the strain of his responsibilities leaving cracks in the man she loved. Darth Lycan is here. It's been a minute since I've seen you, Darth. Noelle tried to brush it off, but each word Ariel uttered made her blood boil. It was just the beginning. All right. Okay, we're good on chapter 20. So we're going to save that and we're going to go on to 21. Yeah, oh, that's good. So I actually really enjoy, I shouldn't say I really enjoy Canada. I'm about to sound like a real American tourist. I've been to Banff. So we, and Vancouver a couple of times on the way to Alaska. But I do actually really like Canada. One of my husband's cousins who we're actually really close with, we just came home from a family vacation with them because they have kids similar to our age, and his wife is actually from Canada, and so love her. She is really cool, her and her family. Please don't ask me what part of Canada they're from because I don't remember. I'm blanking. But I think it is, I'm pretty sure it is Western Canada because whenever they lived in like Seattle area for a while, they would see them pretty frequently. So I would imagine it's got to be somewhere close-ish to Washington State. Yeah, Banff is really beautiful. And it's like, you know, supposed to be. Yeah. Victoria. You said you live in Victoria, right? Or like that area? Chapter 21. Noelle. Noelle seized the moment. While all eyes were on Drago, she tightened her grip on Eli and guided. All right. 21. This is the second to last chapter, and then we're done. You have no idea what you've done, Drago whispered. Oh, you're New Brunswick. Okay. Yeah, and then we worked. I used to be in marketing, and
the guy that I worked for, who was VP, VP of sales and marketing, was originally from the Toronto area. And he's like 60-ish, age-wise. So he didn't come to America until he was well into his 30s, I think. Maybe almost 40. So he spent a lot of time in Canada. Okay, your Atlantic side, yeah. Yeah, I want to go. I do want to go. But I haven't even been to... I've traveled quite a bit. And like we've gone to Europe and like I've been to Europe and things. It's not like I haven't traveled. I just, for some reason, I have not made it to Eastern Canada. I have not made it to the Atlantic coast of Canada. But I want to go. I haven't even made it to the east coast of the United States. The farthest east I've gone is, well, technically Florida, but Florida's also super south. But Tennessee, I think, is the farthest. I've been to Tennessee and Kentucky, and depending on... I'd have to look at a map to tell you which one was for the farthest east. Yeah. Let's see, Malia knows. Where are you based out of? If you drove to Florida, that's got to be, like, not super, super far, right? I shouldn't say that, because we drove to Florida from Texas, and that took us 2 days. Toronto's too big. Yeah, it's very, very populated. Oh, you're by Maine. Okay. That's probably pretty also.
Whispered.
I was ramping up a lot of travel back in like 2019, and then COVID hit and it got crazy on traveling. So I basically shut it down. I was just doing more domestic travel within the United States. And now finally, a few months ago, we went to Germany. I guess several months ago now. We went to the Hanover Fair in Germany, which was really cool. Oh my gosh, Ohio to Florida. That's right. I forgot you said Ohio. Ohio to Florida sounds miserable. Why would you do that? Why would you drive that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember you saying Jelly Roll was coming to your concert because you live next to the amphitheater. I'm remembering our conversation now.
Noelle. Noelle seized the moment while all consequences that the laws of the castle can be
6:56 is where I need to go.
all eyes. Noelle seized the moment while all eyes.
I was like, why can I not see the right numbers? It's because I was not even in the right ballpark.
And what message would that send? That betrayal has no consequences. And what message would that send? That betrayal has no consequences. That the laws of this castle can be bent to suit personal whims. No consequences. That the laws of this castle can be bent to suit personal whims. This isn't about the laws, Noelle said softly, her voice breaking.
It's not about it. Oh. I guess you would come down, like straight down. For us, we had to go from we left from West Texas, which that's part of the reason it took us 2 days to get there, because it took us like a day to even get out of our state. We left from West. It was so dumb.
Laws, Noelle said softly, her voice breaking.
No, you're fine. You're not. I always tell people in my chats, like, feel free to talk about whatever, ask questions, not talk about whatever, because there's like rules on platforms, but talk, talk in the comments, ask questions, whatever. I might have times where I'm recording and doing stuff where I can't really answer you yet, but I'll get to it whenever I take a break. Oh, top of Ohio to Cincinnati was only 5 to 6 hours. That's not bad. Yes, I'm sure.
Consequences that the laws of the castle can be.
I just need Positron to stop picking on me for the way that I say Drusilla.
Narrowed further, but the corners of his mouth betrayed him with a mischief, though a trace of nervousness flicked there.
Ah, I said flicked and it's supposed to be flickered. At 1804.
Mischief, though a trace of nervousness flicked. You'll do what? She interrupted, her chin tilted defiantly.
Her emerald eyes gleamed with mischief, though a trace of nervousness flickered there.
Tilted defiantly.
Her emerald eyes gleamed with mischief, though a trace of nervousness flickered there.
Lock me there. Lock me in the West Tower, too? Imagine the scandal. My lady, I'll ask you again. What are you up? My lady, I'll ask you again. What are you up? Kidnap Queen Noelle. Lothario lifted his head.
Oh no. Okay, 21's done. Now we're going to the last chapter. We're going to the last chapter.
Chapter 22.
All right, and
Noelle, you're certain? Drago asked Ethel. His moment. Drago took a step back, his unusually steady form swaying.
ten 02. Come on.
Drago took a step back, his unusually. She ventured weakly, her attempt at humor falling flat against the weight of the moment.
Drago took a step back, his usually steady form swaying as if Nope.
She ventured weakly, her attempt at humor falling flat against the weight of the moment.
Drago took a step back, his usually steady form swaying as if the sheer magnitude of the revelation had knocked him off balance.
Drago took a step back, his usually steady form swaying as if the sheer magnitude of the revelation had knocked him off balance. He sank onto the throne behind him, his hand gripping the armrest.
Fix to that.
Twins. The thought sent a jolt of pride and protected and love. You are a king first.
You are king first, not a king. Darn it. $12.34.
You are a king first. You are a king. You are a king first. You are a king. You are a king. You are a king. Searching for a way out of the impossible tangle of duty and love.
You are a king. I did it again. No A.
Searching for a way out of the impossible tangle of duty and love.
You are king first.
Love.
You are king first.
The voice of reason.
You are king first.
The voice of reason snarled in his mind.
Okay.
By sentencing her to the West Tower.
Okay. We've done all of the actual editing and proofing. Now, the rest of the... oh, I've got a couple error messages. Oh. Okay. Now, I get to listen to it back and make sure that I don't have any weird clicks or anything. So, I love that y'all are watching and hanging out with me, but I'm going to go take a break, and then all I'm going to do is listen to these back and take out some random click sounds, and I think that'll pretty much be it. I say that I'm not going to record or anything over the weekend, but I probably will keep up my live streak and go live while I prep the next book, because I will like read through it and do some highlighting and things. And so I may go live over the weekend to do some things like that, but there won't be any recording content, I don't think, until Monday. So everybody have a good weekend. Maybe I'll see you sometime over the weekend, but see you later. Have a good night. Bye, Foo Foo Love Chess. I'll see you next time.